Good morning, MGEU delegates. Don't you just love that music? It gets the morning going and it gets the blood pumping. It is awesome. Good morning, friends. Delegates, welcome to day 2 of our first ever virtual convention. Convention has been such a success so far, so I want to congratulate all of you members out there and all of the amazing staff that have made this happen for us. Such a job well done. Congratulations and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am excited to get to our first order of the day. I would now like to take this opportunity to introduce Brother Kevin Rebeck, President of the Manitoba Federation of Labor. He is no stranger to our MGEU conventions, as he is often volunteering his time as our moderator at our all candidates forums, our balloting chair during the provincial officer elections. Kevin has been active in the labor movement for over 30 years. He was re-elected president of the Manitoba Federation of Labor for a 4th term in 2018. Under President Rebeck, the MFL has successfully advocated for a number of progressive changes to Manitoba's laws and policies. In solidarity with Manitoba's labor movement and working people throughout the province, including making Manitoba the first province to provide paid leave for victims of domestic violence. Kevin has led the charge against the Pallister's government's unconstitutional wage freeze law, including the Partnership to Defend Public Services, the court challenge. He's also been a vocal critic of the Pallister government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, including advocating for paid sick days and fighting back the government's plans to make drastic public sector cuts. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you from all of us. And thank you for your strong leadership at the Manitoba Federation of Labor. You are so inspirational. Off to Kevin.
Hello, sisters, brothers, friends. I'd hope we'd be meeting in person by now, but safety comes first. And I want to thank MGU for making the transition to this online format. I know it wasn't easy, but it was the responsible decision to keep members safe. It's been a busy 2 years since the last MGU convention. Our world and our labor movement have faced a lot of challenges. COVID hit, and we all learned how to use Zoom, Teams, Skype, and all kinds of video messaging apps we didn't know existed. I know that MGU members have been working on the front lines and behind the scenes to provide services that Manitobans count on throughout the pandemic. I want to thank you. But what thanks did you get from this provincial government? Well, the government, formerly known as the Pallister government, introduced bills to tip the scales against workers and unions and strip away the right to arbitration when strikes or lockouts go over 60 days. It introduced bills to eliminate school boards and privatize liquor sales and starve the province of revenue it needs to provide public services we all count on. The government has not been on the side of working people during the pandemic or before it. But it isn't all doom and gloom, my friends. And this is where I miss live events the most. But I'll imagine the cheers and applause when I say, Pallister's gone. He finally had to accept what we've known from day one. He doesn't share the value of Manitobans. Thanks to the advocacy of MGU and other unions, and with the help of the NDP official opposition, 5 pieces of Pallister legislation, which would have done major damage to our province, were thrown in the trash. And let's make sure that's where they stay under the new premier. We saw thousands of Manitobans wear orange shirts for September 30th, the first national day for truth and reconciliation. And we've called on this provincial government to recognize the day as a provincial statutory holiday, but they didn't deliver. They did take a step in the right direction and made it a day off for provincial and school workers. But more importantly, Manitobans have been talking about systemic racism, residential schools, and the Truth and Reconciliation Report now more than ever before. We need to keep doing that. And we need to enact change, including the calls to action with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in Canada. We saw Canadians re-elect the minority federal government, rejecting right-wing politics and austerity measures, and saying we want a more center-left government that protects workers' incomes and provides support as we recover from the pandemic. Thanks to the decades-long work of so many child care advocates, we have a real opportunity for $10 a day child care for Manitobans, which will make a huge difference for so many working families. We need to ensure these are good family-supporting jobs or careers for the workers in the sector, by ensuring the public dollars are invested in new public and nonprofit spaces. We have more work ahead of us provincially to protect public services and stop privatization. We know that Pallister may be gone, but his agenda is still very much on the table. And we need to keep fighting for working people in Manitoba and for the public services that they count on. That includes fighting to make the minimum wage a living wage, not one of the lowest minimum wages in the country. It includes fighting for paid sick leave for all workers. It includes increasing mental health supports, particularly since the pandemic has taken such a toll on the mental health of Manitobans. Your union has been on the front line advocating for more investments in mental health. And it includes fighting to protect and strengthen public services as MGEU has been doing. I'm thankful for MGEU's leadership in our federation. You're well represented with Michelle, Charlotte, Jean-Guy, Jesse, Ed, Susan, Kirk, and Carol on our executive council. You're active in our committees and conferences and now webinars. And I always see MGEU on picket lines and demonstrations because you know the importance of solidarity and working together. I'm proud to stand in solidarity with MGEU and our entire labor movement as we try to make life better for all Manitobans. Together, we are stronger. I know you've got a full agenda for your convention and look forward to working with your leaders, with your activists, and with your incredible staff team to make the Manitoba labor movement even stronger and to push our provincial government to treat workers with respect. Have a great convention.
Well, I guess it was happening for some of the folks listening in. So everybody here is working on it. DOTS is working on it. Advent Pro is working on it. We want to make sure that you, the delegates, are definitely enjoying the day and having a great virtual convention experience. So again, Kevin, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so very, very much for being willing to do this virtually for us, to making sure that the MFL is a part of our convention. It's been a long-standing tradition. We never, ever want to lose that. So thank you so very, very much. I am going to call on Shirley Russell now to present the Credentials Committee, please. Good morning, Shirley. Where you're I think the mic needs to come on. We're going to give us a second. We're working out the kinks, folks. We'll get this done first thing in the morning, and the rest of the day is just going to fly right by. So Shirley, if you want to unmic yourself now, I think. No, I still can't hear you. We're giving it a minute. Yes. Oh. Okay, so I am being told that her mic is not working so great, so we are going to go to Diana Schultz. I'm so sorry, Shirley, we'll get that working. Diana, if you please.
Good morning. My name's Diana Schultz, local 410 Tech Prof, and I'm a member of the Convention Credentials Committee. On behalf of the committee, I provide the following report. The total number of registered delegates is 223. The total number of registered official observers is 7. As of 9:08 a.m. this morning, there were 193 registered delegates in the virtual convention hall, and there were 6 official observers participating. I move acceptance of this report of the Credentials Committee.
Thank you very, very much. Do we have a seconder for the Credentials Committee? Remember, folks, hit that line, type into the virtual. We have Lisa Canada is seconding. So Lisa Canada has seconded the credentials report. I would ask to vote. And I'm giving a couple of seconds to make sure that we are getting that up on your screens. And again, folks, remember, in case you didn't refresh from yesterday, refresh your ballot. Once the polls open, cast your vote. Once you voted, make sure you hit confirm so that your vote is confirmed. And once you see that voted successful sign, you know that it has counted. So folks, we are asking very shortly, the poll will be open and we will be able to go ahead and vote on our credentials. And I'll just put Janet on notice that she will be coming up next once we've got this done. So I hope everyone's having a wonderful morning. I hope you've all had your coffee this morning. And I have to say, sometimes I'm a little bit jealous thinking you're sitting back and part of this at home and being able to just sit in your living room, have your coffee and relax and enjoy the convention. Again, definitely miss not doing this live and having all the energy and all of the having awesome delegates being able to get up to the mics and speak. This is a little bit foreign for us, but we are getting used to it. I have a feeling this might be happening for a little while yet. I don't think COVID is done with us from what the experts are telling us. So we're just waiting to see if the poll is open. And it looks like they're just having a little bit. It is open now. So I will ask the delegates, please go ahead and vote to accept the credential report. All right, delegates, this is your 30-second warning, and then the poll is going to close. So if you haven't, make sure that you've refreshed your ballot and cast your vote, hit confirm, and make sure you've got that vote successful sign comes up for you. Again, you're down to about 20 seconds now. All right, 100%. That is awesome. The credential report has passed. And now I'm going to thank you to the credentials committee. Thank you, Diana, for stepping in quick, and Shelley will make sure that that mic is working soon. I am going to turn the chair over to Janet now. And so Janet, all yours.
Thanks, Michelle. Good morning, everybody. I realize everyone just voted on the credentials report, However, we're going to walk through another test vote just to be sure we can address any issues anyone might be having before the provincial officer elections. Delegates, please scroll down to the secure voting section of the website and click Next Vote to refresh the page. At this point, you'll get the refresh ballot question, or you'll be required to re-enter your voter ID and password. Once the poll is open, please cast your ballot. Once you submit your vote, ensure you can hit confirm in your vote selection in order to be submitted successfully. Data on the spot. When you're ready with the ballot, please let me know. Always feel like I should do a jig while we're waiting. Okay, the ballot is open, delegates. Please cast your ballot, your vote. Hi, delegates. This is your 30-second warning. And I also am told that a hand is up, but the delegate has not indicated in the chat why your hand is up. So if it's a point of privilege, please indicate that and tell us what it is. So we can, and do that in the chat to the virtual chair. Okay, it passed. Thanks, delegates. Now I want to explain a little bit about the election process this morning for those of you that are new to convention. To be declared elected, a candidate must receive a majority vote, which means 50% plus one of all of those who cast a ballot. Where, after the first voting, if one candidate has received a majority of votes, the candidate then will, with the least number of votes, will be dropped off the ballot, and then we will vote again. And we will do that until one candidate has 50% plus one. And if there's a tie, we vote again. I haven't seen that before, but it could happen. We'll be asking the candidate scrutineers, as well as Kevin Rebeck, MFL president, as the balloting chair, to review the election results in a breakout room before we announce the results to the delegate floor. A reminder that nominations are closed. And if you're looking for candidate information, it's found on our website, but I would certainly encourage you to be watching the candidate speeches this morning. We're now going to be in elections, and we will begin with the position of president, followed by the election for first vice, then second vice, then third and fourth. Actually, we won't do one for second. I take that back. I will ask the nominating, I would ask the nominators and candidates running for president to be ready for your speeches. Just as a reminder, speeches by candidates shall be made separately for each position. The order of speeches for each position was decided by a draw yesterday. The nominator for any provincial officer position is entitled to make a speech of up to 3 minutes. The nominee for any provincial officer position shall be entitled to make a speech of up to 5 minutes. And all of them know that just like when we're at convention, the mic goes off when the time is up. At the conclusion of speeches, delegates, again, you'll scroll down, go to the next vote, and at this point, you'll get a refresh ballot or be required to enter your voter ID and password. Once the poll is open, cast your ballot. Once you submit your vote, again, ensure you've hit confirm in order for your vote to be successfully submitted. Once you hit confirm, you will not be able to change your vote. For each vote, the polls will remain open for 4 minutes. A reminder that once the ballot is closed, we'll be asking the scrutineers to join us in a Zoom room, breakout room, to review the results before announcing. So I just want you to know it's going to take a bit of time. The 4 minutes to make sure everybody votes, and then a few minutes for the scrutineers, and then we'll come back to announce the results to everybody. The results will be announced shortly after the speeches, and balloting will proceed then for the next position election. I would like to invite James Alexander to start their speech.
Hopefully I'm unmuted. Good morning, sisters, brothers, and friends. My name is James Alexander, and I'm the newly elected Vice President of Local 14 Corrections. For those of you who know me, you can probably guess how excited I am to virtually stand up here and speak. Fortunately for all of you, I will not be speaking about myself today. Rather, I'm speaking in nomination of my component director and longtime colleague, Dylan Omdahl. As I'm sure you're all aware, Dylan is running for the president of the MGEU, and he has told me that I have the distinct privilege of informing you of his vast credentials. Dylan is the current corrections component director, a position he has served in for the last 5 years. He has helped lead corrections through many difficult times, including the closure of our Dauphin facility and, of course, the global pandemic. However, along with the difficulties, he has also helped to rack up huge victories for our membership. This includes his integral role in mental health support training in our workplaces, as well as major victories in stat time and overtime as time off, which has sweeping implications across the civil service. He has also represented our members on many committees previously, most recently on grievance and appeals. Over the last 3 years, I have had the pleasure of working closely with Dylan on component and in bargaining. With this government, often a blessed exercise in futility. Despite the difficulties we faced in those rooms, Dylan remained a level-headed leader. He helped to guide negotiations and to settle arguments, and that was just with our side of the table. More important than Dylan's activism is his standing as a distinguished member of his community, a proud single father of 2 who has also taken on the role of adopting his 2 nieces. He spends his days rushing back and forth between sporting events, schools, community events, and somewhere in there, he still finds time for the picket line and the MGEU. This speaks volume about his passion and dedication overall. Dylan brings this passion and leadership to everything he does, often offering a logical and sobering opinion on difficult and nuanced topics. Need someone to go over the finer points of Bill 28 and its ramifications? Dylan is there. Need to strategize on how to tackle the employer at PLMC? Dylan is there. Need someone to help you move? Well, Dylan is there, but he'll constantly remind you about it. In all seriousness, I asked Dylan what his campaign represented, and he summed it up with one word: unity. Unity is something that we are in desperate need of currently. The world is in a global pandemic, with vaccinations being stood on as a divisive issue in both the community and the workplace. Previous to that, the MGU was coming off the heels of over 9,000 lost members, something that has divided not only our union, but the labor movement as a whole. Dylan plans to be the change that provides that unity. His goals may be lofty, but he has the experience and expertise to tackle them. I could continue to speak about Dylan's good qualities ad nauseum, for example, his strength of character and creativity and problem-solving abilities. But to be honest, I think I'd be a poor replacement for the man himself. So with that said, allow me to introduce to you the next president of the MGEU, Dylan Omdahl.
Thank you, James. I would now like to invite Dylan Omdahl to begin his speech for the delegates.
Good morning, friends. My name is Dylan Omdahl, and I am running for the position of president. Thank you, James, for your kind words and your support. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank you to all of you for coming to convention. You are the backbone of our democracy. I'd be remiss if I didn't speak about the day we had yesterday. What would convention be with a little bit of tension in the air? But we need to take care of these resolutions to make sure our constitution is locked solid and to ensure we don't have the same issues in the future. With healthy debate, I know we will make the right decision. I may be unfamiliar to some of you, so let me tell you a bit about myself. I've been involved with the labor movement for over 28 years. I started my activism in Southern Ontario with the CAW and then the Teamsters as a steward. During my time there, I learned not to be afraid to stand up for my rights and that solidarity will always prevail. I then moved to Manitoba to become a correctional officer. Within the first year, I became active within the union as a part-time committee member. Then a couple of years later, I became vice president of the local, followed by chief steward, and then president a few years later. During my second term as president, I was honored to become the corrections component director, which I've served for the last 5 years. During my time on the executive, I have spearheaded the Trauma Informed Care Committee, which sought to bring mental health supports to correctional officers and support staff. This multi-million-dollar initiative was brought real change within the department. Through Road to Mental Readiness, officers are less likely to experience PTSD as well as occupational stress disorder. I believe that mental health is one of our biggest issues that we face in our workplace. Whether it be straight up harassment or bullying, it is not conducive to a healthy workplace and needs to stop. To all the delegates, it's our values that bind us together. It's our values that keep us together through the good and the bad. When things are good, representing our members is a relatively easy job. But when things are bad, it is when we need to really come together, or that is the time that we really need each other. What we stand for day in and day out must be some sort of calling, because this is a hard job with very little thanks for the work we have done and are doing. I believe that we are all in this for the same reasons, and that is because we care. We care about our families, our communities, our friends, and this union. I would like to say to each of you, thank you for your hard work for doing and providing the services you do to the people of Manitoba. I appreciate the work you do. Our union is faced with austerity measures that are reducing the number of civil servants within the government. This, coupled with the threat of privatization to our public service, has demoralized unions. Do more with less is what we see happening all around us in our workplace. I believe we need to empower our membership through education. As I said earlier, you should never be afraid to stand up for your rights. And through education, we will impart a base of knowledge that will empower us all to fight the good fight. Education does not stop with our members. It continues with educating the public. Make no mistake, the PC government is educating the public. It's the union's job that has caused an inflated budget, when the truth is the PC government is giving tax breaks to wealthy corporations. We need to engage the public and educate them to the importance of public service. Where would we be without our nurses, our highway workers, our clerks, liquor workers, and of course, social workers? We need to bring together our allies, other unions, community leaders, and unite under what is best for Manitobans. This is not a one-person show. This is a 30,000 member fight. As president, I will empower the component directors, local presidents, chief stewards, vice presidents, members at large, and stewards to help their colleagues through the challenges in front of them. We have the best staff working for our union. These incredible, highly educated, motivated individuals have the knowledge and power to act and to empower our activists. With us all working together, I know we will advance the labor movement going forward. You have a decision to make between 3 candidates. One is a practice politician that will have you believe all is well with our union, that we are fighting the good fight. This despite leading us over the past 9 years from a 42,000 member union to just over 30,000 members. All this while spending over $6 million of your money to lose them. This union cannot sustain another term with her at the helm. The other believes that this union has lost the threat of a strike. Look no further than his own webpage for what does zeros cost calculator. And I quote from his own webpage. This tool was created due to members and union staff indicating that in a strike, you never gain back what you lose. With this calculator, you can make the decision yourself, unquote. Although I've never been on strike, my life's experience has taught me the hardships of being without a job is sudden. And I don't think about how much better off I will be 7 years from now. I was going through the stress of how I was going to help provide for my family this week. We will sustain the momentum that we have started here today. We will forge ahead, for I feel at home with you, my sisters, brothers, and friends, and I am ready to lead this union. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dylan. I would now like to invite Michelle Skibinski to make her speech.
Good morning, delegates. My name is Michelle Skibinski, and I am a senior software developer with the Civil Service. I've been involved with MGEU for over 20 years, and I'm the component director for administration. Good morning, delegates. My name is Michelle Skibinski, and I am a senior software developer with the Civil Service. I've been involved with MGEU for over 20 years, and I'm the component director for administration. I can stand in front of you and read Michelle Goronski's credentials, just like I did mine, outlining her 27 years of activism with MGEU in multiple capacities, but we'd be here all day. Instead, I want to share with you a few things that illustrate Michelle, who Michelle is, and why she should remain our MGEU president. I have witnessed firsthand a hardworking, strong, and fierce advocate who fights the good fight during some of the toughest times union members have experienced and are still facing within Manitoba. Things such as draconian legislation, removing our chartered rights to bargain collectively and in good faith. Being in the workplace is very trying and challenging for many of us. Rights are being stripped away, and knowing that we face repercussions if we speak out. Michelle speaks for us. She is our voice. Michelle has weathered many union busting challenges from this government, and the battles have been many. Michelle always acts with integrity and truth. No false promises made or broken with Michelle. Michelle has a strong, respectful working relationship with the media. She is our voice and says what needs to be said. She can get the information out and be heard. She is one of the predominant faces of the labor movement within Manitoba. Michelle rallied and spearheaded countless marches and information pickets. Members joined with Michelle as she led the as a true leader does. Even with the pandemic, Michelle has ensured that many meetings were held during public health restrictions while facing this uncharted territory. Now, spearheaded by our board and Michelle, working to accomplish the best possible outcomes. Michelle sits on the NUPSHI board and finance committee, and in days gone by, sat on the NUPSHI women's committee. She is an executive officer on the MFL. Her peers from across this great country of ours see the wisdom, leadership abilities, and dedication in Michelle. They believe in her too. We need a solid foundation with proven experience to take this government on. Our fight is not over. We don't need to reinvent ourselves with someone who doesn't know the players at the legislature or in other labor organizations. Michelle has proven she is ready and willing to stand up to the challenges. She knows the players at the table, and we cannot lose her experience and knowledge. We mustn't play the proverbial game of cat and mouse with our members' lives. Personally, she is kind, understanding, and a compassionate leader who leads with integrity and honor, constantly thriving to meet with as many members as she can throughout this province. Her can-do attitude that has been proven within our union is so important, it cannot be diminished. That's why I encourage you to re-elect Michelle Goronski, our proven leader, for president of our union, our beloved MGEU. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Michelle. I would now invite Michelle Goronski to make her speech.
Good morning, delegates, sisters, brothers, and friends. I am delighted to stand before you today to ask you to support my bid for re-election as your proud MGEU president. But first, I want to thank Michelle Skibinski for her nomination. Wow, it's truly moving to hear those comments coming from a sister that I respect. Michelle, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And delegates, I want to thank you too. I know we would have much preferred to meet in an old-fashioned convention hall, face-to-face, shoulder-to-shoulder, catching up with friends, meeting new ones, but it was not to be. Instead, we've made this virtual convention work because we've had to. Even in COVID, it's essential that the business of our union gets done. So thanks to each and every one of you for signing up, setting up, and tuning in. You are truly dedicated MGEU activists, and for that, I am deeply grateful. And one final thanks, and that goes to your MGEU Board of Directors, who working together in solidarity has gotten us through these tough times to this convention. Ensuring your safety comes first, while also ensuring our union remains strong and our rights protected. Please joining me in thanking them when you see them. Now to my ask. As most of you know, I've had the privilege of being your president since 2012. And let me tell you, it's been a privilege. Every day since I was first elected, I've gotten out of bed. I've literally sprung out of bed. So proud to be your advocate, your voice, ready to take on the many challenges that have come our way, ready to fight back. And man, there have been many challenges. Since 2016, when Brian Pallister's PCs were elected, the MGEU and all of labor in Manitoba has been under constant attack. You know it firsthand. I don't have to tell you, you've lived it. Cuts, privatization, layoffs, unpaid days, and on and on. But we're fighting back. rallies, information pickets, honkathons, petitions, campaigns, op-eds, grievances, arbitrations, strike votes, court challenges. Yes, we've used every tool in the toolbox and we've won. Together, we've won respectful workplace complaints against employers and held them accountable. We've won secure entrances for our liquor store members and more are coming. We backed them off liquor privatization. We've won a no layoff clause in civil service. We went to court and won our fight against wage freezes. We went to court and forced the government to go to arbitration on the civil service contract. We won 2 huge strike votes to support 2 bargaining committees. And just this week, we won an arbitration where many of our members are receiving thousands of dollars in retro monies. I know we've taken some hits, yes, but we've prevailed. We've backed them off and won. And more importantly, we've won in the court of public opinion. Manitobans appreciate and value you and the services you provide, and they are standing in support of you. Let's face it, Pallister blinked. No, actually, he turned tail and ran. Yes, we did that together. Brothers, sisters, friends, the man has stepped down, but we know the fight is still on. We are a great team. You are the eyes and ears in your workplaces, the specialists, if you will, and I am your voice. I know the players, and I'm not afraid to make the call and stand up to the bullies if need be. We've turned the corner on bargaining, and there's wages on bargaining tables. We have to go hard. We've got a couple of strike votes in our pockets, but we may need a few more. We'll have a new premier in a few short days. I have no illusions, but they've started a conversation with us, and we need to take advantage of this. We owe it to our members. I believe I have the experience, the commitment, the energy to continue to lead our fight, to continue to win for you and our cause. As always, my door is open, and you are all welcome anytime. I look forward to our many conversations, many ongoing collaborations in the future. I make this pledge to you. I will continue to work my hardest for you. I will be focused and unrelenting on your behalf, for you, for our MGEU. I ask for your support in my bid for re-election as MGEU president. Together, we can do this. Thank you for listening. Take care and stay safe.
Good morning, delegates. We've heard from some folks that the live stream, if you're watching on live stream, that there's an echo, and we're working on that. For delegates, observers are on live stream, but our delegates, you have a Zoom invite. And if you go to the Zoom, you will not have the same difficulty. So if you're a delegate, we encourage you to be participating on the Zoom, and we are working on the problem on live stream. So our apologies, but we're going to work on it. Thank you so much for your patience, you guys. I also want to mention now we are going to open the ballot. Oh, pardon me, my apologies. I would like to now invite Kimberly Lynn to make her speech. My apologies, Kim. Might be turned off. Oh, you're good now. Okay.
Sorry, I was a little concerned for a moment there. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kimberly Lynn, Local 71. I'd like to introduce you to Kyle Ross, advocate, husband, father, equipment operator, software developer, MGEU presidential candidate. Kyle has been an activist for his entire working career since he was 18 years old. He started his union activism with UFCW as a steward and then became an MG member in 2008 with MPI. Kyle is currently president of his local and sits on the MGEU board of directors as the MPI director. He's held various positions within his local and component. Kyle joined me on the MGEU board of directors in 2016. Kyle is a very active board member. He listens, asks questions, and challenges the chair when necessary. Kyle and I have not always seen eye to eye at board meetings, but we respect each other's opinion and point of view. He asks questions and wants to know more than what is put in front of him. Kyle is balanced. He understands his seat on the board is not just to serve the MPI members, but the MGEU members as a whole. Kyle chairs the Tech Change Committee and also sits on the Risk and Strategy Committee. Kyle is driven, committed, and an advocate for all MGEU members. Kyle is very active in his home community as well. He is VP of the Dougal Community Club, volunteers his time to look after his community outdoor rink, and is president of SMOL. It's a mixed softball league. Kyle leads a very active life with his wife and 2 children. He is very much driven by a sense of fairness and treating others as he would like to be treated. Kyle has a drive to see this union become all that it could be. We as a union have been very divisive for the last few years. It is time to heal these wounds. Listen to the boots on the ground members and get back to being a member-driven union that we were supposed to be. My experience with Kyle is that he's an active listener. Kyle is here to listen to all, not just a chosen few. And he will take that time to hear you out. A vote for Kyle brings us back to our member-driven roots and makes us a strong union once again. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kim. I would now like to invite Kyle Ross to make his speech.
Thank you, Kimberly. Hello, brothers, sisters, and friends. Hello, bonjour. I'm Kyle Ross. My pronouns are he, him, and I would like to acknowledge that I'm speaking on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. Je suis bilingue pour ceux qui préfèrent parler en français. This campaign was such an amazing experience. Meeting so many activists and discussing their views and my vision for the MGEU has been so rewarding. During these conversations, we usually discuss the healthcare losses or difficulties to get members to attend local meetings. We usually ended up at the same conclusion. The MGEU needs to grow to be successful. It feels like we're stuck in the 90s, but at that time, our members were active and ready for that challenge. Currently, we are not. The incumbent will tell you that we need to stick with the status quo and we need to maintain stability. I ask, what stability? Didn't we just lay off a bunch of staff, lose 10,000 members, and being accused of raiding by Wanty, that's the Winnipeg Association of Non-Teaching Employees? If now is not the time for change, then when? We've been under attack by this conservative government for 5 years. We've hardly even put up a response. It's time for all of us to stand up together for each other. We need unity, solidarity more now than ever. Our union has forgotten that the locals and their leaders make us successful, and we need to get back there. We need to talk about member engagement. And I'm not talking about members reaching out to our president. Currently, the president would have you believe she's the keeper of all information. If you need info on your bargaining, talk to her, just as you suggested at the orientation. Workplace issues, talk to her. If you have any questions, talk to her. When this happens, it devalues the hard work of our staff and elected activists. We need members reaching out to their local leaders and staff reps. This is where that information lives and needs to be directed our members there first. This will build up trust and open up the lines of communication within the locals. This will also ensure that people who are most familiar with the issues are the ones answering the questions. Communication is something that I've been talking about for some time now and have had many conversations at the board and with activists about it. The way the MGEU communicates with us is broken. We don't need a monthly update of what our president did. We need to hear about the leaders in our own locals and the things they are doing to improve our working conditions. Our union is way bigger than our president, and we need our members to know this. If you go digging in the MGEU website, which I did, you notice that we used to post at the local and component level rather consistently. Then around 2016, this just stopped. We need to bring this back. The MGEU sends far too many communications that don't apply to the reader. I will stop the monthly President's 5-minute update. From my conversations, very few people read it. And I will start a new program that has our local leaders sending information out to their members that will actually read and care about because it pertains to them. This program will issue each local president an @MGEU email address. And this program could potentially be expanded to the table officers and stewards. And the message will come from these accounts. This will create a new avenue for members to reach out to their elected activists and create new lines of communication. Our union's leadership needs to change the way we lead. Right now, we have one leader at the MGEU. When I look at our union, I see more than 800 leaders. I'm talking about our elected activists. We need to work harder to get these leaders more involved with the activities of our union. We need them empowered and with the tools required to support their members. My goal is to foster an environment where leaders can grow and succeed and push their leaders to be better. As a leader, I expect to be held accountable for my actions and decisions. I expect the people around me to let me know when they disagree with me and why. Good leaderships foster these types of environments where people are free to speak their minds. One last item I think the MGEU should explore is we need to create online self-directed courses for activists. This will give them the information they need to get off to a good start. You can show them where they can find their supports and set them up for time before they can get into the great MGU courses. This is especially important when they're elected midterm. Now I would like to thank my wife for encouraging me to take on this challenge of becoming MGU president. It was some tough times with doing all these meetings, and she stepped up for me. I'd also like to thank my children for not yelling and fighting during these meetings. It was really appreciated. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you for attending this virtual convention and showing the leadership it takes to make our union great. Thank you for listening. Let's make this change together. Please consider voting for me. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Kyle. Delegates, data on the spot will prepare the ballots. I'll just remind you that you'll have 4 minutes to vote. Then there'll be a few more minutes for the scrutineers before we post the results. So the ballot is ready. We will now open the vote. for your patience, delegates. The results of the election are Kyle Ross, 98, Michelle Goronsky, 87, Dylan Omdahl, 31. So now Data on the Spot is preparing a second ballot on which you will decide Kyle Ross's name will appear and Michelle Goronsky's name will appear. Okay, delegates. Again, refresh your screen so you're ready to vote. And can we open the voting, please? Hello, candidates. The results of the vote are Kyle Ross, 117, Michelle Goronsky, 98. I declare Kyle Ross elected as your new MGU president. Congratulations. And I have a point of privilege. Oh, sorry. Michelle also has her hand up. Would like to acknowledge Dylan Omdahl with a point of privilege. Dylan, we can't hear you.
Thank you, Janet. I had raised my hand earlier and I've lowered it since. Thank you.
Okay. Michelle Goronsky has a point of privilege. Michelle, you're on mute.
Thank you so much. And I would like to make it unanimous, please. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you, Michelle. We will now move to the election for your first vice president. And at this time, I would like to invite Steve Howells to make his speech.
Hi, Janet. Sorry, just give me 1 sec here. Good morning, brothers and sisters. My name is Steve Howells, and I'm the Chief Steward for Corrections Area 7, Local 14. And it's my pleasure to be in attendance with you all. I'm here before you to nominate William White for the position of First Vice President. I've known Will for almost 15 years. Him and I met when I first started in corrections. Will was my supervisor and mentor. When I heard Will was running for this position, I actually asked him if I could nominate him because I truly believe that Will serve us well. I know this because I know Will. I know Will, the correctional officer, who's going on his 25th year of service to his community, and whom I truly trust with my life day in and day out. I know Will, the activist, who's held numerous positions in the MGU from steward to chief steward. He's worked on numerous committees. He's currently the vice president and treasurer of the Manitoba Peace Officer Memorial, which he has devoted almost 20 years of his life to see to its fulfillment. And he is currently a facilitator for member education for the MGEU. I also know Will, the husband and father. Will's been married for 16 years to his beautiful wife, and he has 2 phenomenal children, whom he has had a hand in becoming the 2 amazing individuals that they are today. Will believes in unity and transparency, qualities that we find ourselves in short supply at times these days, qualities that we need if we hope to move forward stronger than ever before. People who know me know I don't easily endorse or attach my name to things, but I happily endorse Will, and I truly believe his motivation for this position is for the greater good and not for personal gain. Thank you very much, and I'd like to say congratulations to Kyle Ross.
Thank you, Steve. I would now like to invite Will White to start his speech.
My name is William White, and I'm running for the position of First Vice President of the MGEU. I'm a correctional officer. I have been for over 24 years. During that time, I've held a number of different ranks and positions and worked in a number of different jails. Currently, I'm the Vice President and Treasurer of the Manitoba Peace Officer Memorial Foundation. This not-for-profit group was designed and created to create a permanent memorial here in Winnipeg to honor fallen peace officers in the province. Now, working with our firefighter and our union partners, we have created a combined memorial that honors every single Manitoban killed on the job. And that's here in Winnipeg in Memorial Park. I'm an activist. In 2006, I attended the Labour College of Canada, graduating alongside with Michelle Goronsky. During this time, I've held many elected positions. I've been on numerous campaigns. I've been on numerous courses. Essentially, I tried to do everything that the union had to offer. I'm a facilitator. I teach Red Cross first aid. I also help develop, implement, and train officers in a Road to Mental Readiness program, which is a suicide and PTSD intervention course designed for law enforcement personnel. And I've also co-facilitated a number of union courses. So chances are, if you've taken any of the introductory union classes, we got to meet at some point in time. Finally, I'm a father of two amazing, wonderful kids that one day are going to be entering the workforce. And I kind of want them to be in a strong union environment when they do, which is kind of why I'm here today. Initially, when I put in my papers, it was just Charlotte that was running. Charlotte's great. She's done some amazing things over the years, but a position like this is too important to just leave to one person running. You need to have options. You need to have a choice. You're lucky. You have some amazing people that are all coming to you with the necessary qualifications and ideas to make the job work. So we're lucky in that regard. But the reality is we have lost thousands of members over the last few years. We need to regroup. We need to reorganize. We need to heal our wounds, and we need to come back fighting. I want to give you a voice. It doesn't matter if we come from a large local like Corrections or a small one like Im Park. Every voice matters. You matter. The end result is I want to build upon all the amazing things that the union has already done and create something stronger, something better, something that's far more responsible, and let's face it, far more transparent than what we have right now. I want something that we can all be proud of, a union that is united and not divided like we're seeing. Now, we've done some amazing things over the decades. We've made some amazing strides. We've done some wonderful things, but we've also dropped the ball a few times and made some big mistakes. We need to acknowledge that when it happens. We need to learn from it. We need to listen to what our membership is saying, and not just the good stuff. No, I want to hear the bad stuff. I want to hear from the people that are angry, that are disappointed, that are disillusioned, that feel that their union has let them down. I want to hear from them, so that way we can have a conversation and start to fix some of the problems that are there. We need to act on what we're hearing from our membership. And that's where I want to lend you my voice, so that we can go together to start fixing some of the problems that we see within. I want to thank you. You know, the things that you are doing here today are important to this union movement. You've stood up and you've been counted, and not just here, but in the things that you do in your local as well. You should be thanked for that. I truly wish that we had the opportunity to stand face to face and have a conversation, but we can't, not right now. I'm available. I'm easy to find. I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on all these different platforms. You know, I have a phone, I have email, I have FaceTime. We can make ways to connect. To this, I'm going to pledge you. If I'm elected as your first vice president, I will make the time to listen to your concerns, to join you in your celebrations, realizing that every single local matters. You matter. I want you to join with me as we work towards a better tomorrow. My name is William White. I'm running for first vice president of our union. If you have questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach me at william.white.forfirst@shaw.ca. Thank you again. Merci and miigwech. Have a great day.
Thank you, Will. Sorry. but I'm glad we did a restart for you so you had all of your time. I would now like to invite Tana Schwartacki to speak.
Greetings, everyone. First off, I would like to thank Charlotte for giving me this opportunity to speak on her behalf. My name is Tana Schwartacki, and I'm an admitting clerk at the Selkirk Regional Health Center. I'm honored to nominate Charlotte McWilliams for the first position of the first vice president of the MGEU. I have been the MGEU member since 2007 and currently a chief steward for Local 413 in Area 5. It is Charlotte's selflessness and dedication to others that impressed me when I first met her 6 years ago. She was facilitating a workplace health and safety course that I was attending. And it's true what they say, knowledge is power. I was taken away with the important information that she shared and filled with ideas that I could do in my workplace. Charlotte continued to work with me over the phone for many evenings until I felt confident. Charlotte knows the value and meaning of solidarity, both within the MGEU and the labor movement. We walked a number of picket lines together at the Selkirk Laundry, Manitoba Youth Center, and the Transit Union, to name a few. She has volunteered at countless events, facilitated many courses, and presented at our Women's Conference. She represents us at the Manitoba Federation of Labor, as well as the National Union. You name it, and Charlotte is there. Her skill and ease come from her passion and genuine desire to engage with others in discussions about important issues that members can face. She's driven to make differences for all of us. Charlotte's commitment is also reflected in the countless hours attending local meetings. For many years, I've seen her at my local meetings and area councils. She rarely misses an opportunity to engage with members and makes the drive back home to Brandon to be at work the very next day. It's really important for Charlotte to make these things are sure staying on top of members' issues and offering help whenever she can. Given that Charlotte is running for the first vice president, this means she is the chair of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee. I would be remiss if I didn't also mention her day-to-day work experience, where she is a standing orders officer at the Brandon Correctional Center. Charlotte's job is to interpret legislation and collective agreement provisions. She breaks it all down into clear language, which provides direction to both staff and management in her workplace. I think this skill is key in ensuring our Constitution is not only followed consistently, but provides her with the ability to recommend changes that we, the members, require to keep our Constitution relevant to our evolving needs. I take the responsibility of endorsing a candidate to my fellow delegates very seriously, and I ask that you place trust in me with my selection of Charlotte. With her, I can do this with ease, as I know she will bring the integrity, the experience, and the dedication to this role that it requires. Thank you.
I would now like to invite Charlotte McWilliams to begin her speech.
Good morning, delegates. Thank you, Tanis, for that amazing speech. I have much respect for you, not only as a person, but as an activist, so your words meant a lot to me. I also wish to thank all you delegates for attending and participating in our convention. And after hearing Will, I would like to say thank you to Will as well. I think you are also a very excellent activist. My journey that has brought me here today started in my workplace. Like many of you, I identified issues in my workplace and began to ask questions. Since that day, many years ago, I've had the privilege of serving you in a number of ways. For the past few years, I've served as your first vice president. Before that, the fourth vice president, Area 3 director, and as an activist. Thank you for trusting in me to do the work for each of these positions. The role of the first vice president is one that requires firsthand knowledge of our union, how it works, and understanding the membership. I fully appreciate that the role of the first vice president is also to have oversight of our Constitution and bylaws, but I believe this is the role is much more. It's about working with my fellow officers, supporting the president, collaborating with other board members, but most importantly, it's about responding to the ongoing needs of our members. I take the role as the first vice president very seriously, taking the time to learn this role and fulfilling its responsibilities, but also by attending local meetings and area council meetings, which is where I get perspective and understanding of the issues from those directly affected by them, building relationships with the members is how we build solidarity. The past few years have been hard for many reasons. We have all experienced the pandemic differently, trying to manage not just at work, but in our personal lives as well. We also know we are facing challenging times ahead. A change in the premier does not mean our fight is over. This is still the same government that has repeatedly forced us to court to fight for our members' rights. It's the same government which has starved our public sector, continues to push privatization, and hinders bargaining. Challenging times ahead will require all of us to work together. We've had to adapt in terms of how we represent our members, as we did with convention. We all know convention was to be last year, and the way we ordinarily hold convention was made impossible. As chair of the Constitution, Bylaws, and Structure Committee, I kept the committee informed and involved in the process. I worked at ensuring the Constitution was upheld and respected during the global pandemic. I was able to work with members, MGEU staff, legal counsel to figure out options for convention to ensure that our democratic practice was observed in its spirit and intent while ensuring member safety. We put these options before the board of directors, and they were able to make informed decisions in the interest of the members. Brothers, sisters, friends, although this is far from what we would have preferred, this has allowed us to conduct vital union business. At our last convention, you directed the union leadership to research the implications of moving to a 3-year convention cycle and a 3-year term for all activists. In my role as the chair of the Constitution Bylaw Structure Committee, I chaired the ad hoc committee to explore this issue and prepare a report so that you, as a delegate, can make informed decision about this very important matter. I am proud of the work that we did to assist you and trust this review will be of assistance in your deliberations. Also at our last convention, delegates expressed frustration over the resolution process. To remedy this, the Constitution Bylaw Structure Committee developed a resolution presentation showing the path of a resolution from start to end. It will assist members when the time comes to submit resolutions. I stood before you 3 years ago and asked that you place your trust in me to be your first vice president. At that time, I declared to you my commitment to bring integrity, experience, and commitment to the role. I believe I fulfilled this commitment and I still stand by these values. I am a person of action and we still have much to do together. Today, I'm asking for your support to continue as your first vice president. I have the integrity, I have the experience, and I have the dedication to take the future with you. Thank you and be safe.
Thank you, Charlotte. I would now like to invite Cheryl Bergman to begin her speech.
Hello to all my fellow delegates. My name is Cheryl Bergman, and I'm a proud member of MGEU Area 7, Local 14 Corrections. I stand before you today to nominate Scott Cloney for MGEU First Vice President. It is my belief that his experience, skill, and dedication to the MGEU members is exactly what we need in our MGEU leadership going forward. Scott has been a member or a staff of the MGEU for nearly 20 years. He has been a steward, a chief steward, a supportive employment liaison, workplace health and safety committee member, part-time committee member, and more. He has chaired the Headingley Part-Time Committee, Headingley's Workplace Health and Safety Committee, MGEU Area 7 Council, MGEU's Health and Safety Environment Committee, and MGEU Young Members Committee. He has sat on the Provincial Civil Service Health and Safety Committee, the Provincial Corrections Labor Management Committee, and numerous provincial subcommittees. Scott was our MGEU fourth vice president from 2012 to 2016, and an MGEU staff representative from 2016 to 2019. I'm sure I've missed a few things here, but this is all just to say that Scott is one of the most experienced MGEU advocates around. Scott has a proven decade-long track record of taking parts of the MGEU that aren't working and fixing them, not just so they work temporarily, but so they work on an ongoing basis in a way that positively benefits our members for the future. For example, Scott took the Headingley Part-Time Committee, which allows new part-time staff to have a voice and a say in their working conditions, from a dead and dormant idea to an entity that continues to run and pay dividends to this very day. When Scott was first elected to be the MGEU first vice president, he took the idea of the Young Members Retreat and worked for over a year to get the approval of the MGEU Board of Directors to form the MGEU Ad Hoc Young Members Committee. With help of several dedicated young activists, many of whom are here today, he spearheaded this to become the MGEU Young Members Committee, which continues to give young activists a place in our union. Our first vice president has a very important role, which is to chair the Civil Service Bargaining Committee. It seems impossible to argue that bargaining in the MGEU is in desperate need of an overhaul. Our contracts take longer and longer every time to conclude, and we have less to show for it each time. It is time for this process to get an overhaul, and Scott has a proven history and a unique level and scope of experience to deliver these results. On a personal note, I've known Scott for over 12 years. He has always been available to any member who needs advice, help, or just a friendly ear to talk to. He does not play favorites and has always shown that his priority is not for advancing himself, but as he grammatically incorrectly puts it, doing the bestest for the mostest. In summary,
Thank you, Cheryl. I would now like to invite Scott Cloney to begin his speech.
Thank you very much, and thank you for that speech, Cheryl. I know that you were nervous about talking in public, and I do very much appreciate you doing that for me. You've been a very good friend. Well, guys, going last is both a blessing and a curse, because everybody else has spoken, and I'm standing between you and voting. But it also allows me the perspective of seeing everything else. So yes, my name is Scott Cloney, and I'm asking for your support to be your first vice president. Why am I asking that? We have real and clear that anybody can see after this convention constitutional issues. And I believe that I can help. I believe that we do not need large omnibus bills. What we need is a Constitution Committee working to come back to you, the members, with constitutional amendments that will fix these holes. We've seen the issues. Our board had to operate for over a year outside of the Constitution, and I applaud them for that. That was hard. They made hard decisions, and we should make sure that they're never put in that position again. Like Cheryl said, we have real challenges with our bargaining, and we need to get creative, and we need to work towards pushing this government to bargain with us and not just ignore us as they have been. So when I come up with a speech, because I don't write them, I just talk, I try to think of what I'm going to say. And somebody gave me a really good idea the other day. I'm going to go with that. And tell people what you are most proud of from your 10 years as being a member or a high level member of this union. And for me, it's you. I see your faces out there. It's the ones who I have helped make space for in this union, whether it's the part-time committee, whether it's sponsoring somebody for a activist retreat, Gary, I can see you. Whether it's the Young Members Committee, all I've ever tried to do is create space for you guys. And I hope that has been successful, and that is what I want to do now. We face a great many challenges, as you've heard people say, and no one person can fix this alone. It takes a team of dedicated activists. It takes all of you. I'm so happy that after the break, I get to talk to convention again. I really, really miss this. As your first vice president, like you've already heard people say, so I hope you don't think I'm copying them, I will be available just like I was before when I was your fourth vice president. If you call me, I will call you back. If you email me, I will email you back. If you need me, I will be there. I want to fight for you. I'm here because I have an undying passion to fight for you. I have two families in my life. One family lives it here, and I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to the best convention political team that has ever existed, that have been with me since that day 9 years ago that I came off the floor, and that is Alex and Abby. I mean, back then they were 8 and 6, but I'm sure at 17 and 15, they had things they'd rather be doing than shooting videos and listening to their dad drone on about provincial labor matters. But they've been with me since day one, and they're watching. So as soon as this is done, back to class. And my other family is this union. I've been a member of this union since I was 20 years old. And ever since day one, I've been working to get involved. And like Cheryl said, it was a steward, it was a chief steward, It was when I was honored to be elected as your fourth vice president, and when I was honored to serve you as a staff representative. You have given me these skills, and all I am asking is that you allow me to do these things for you. Our Constitution needs work. I promise that I will not bring back targeted surgical amendments in 2 years. I will bring them to the June convention in 8 months. We will fix this problem, and we will work hard until we do. I promise that bargaining will not be boring. It will not be sitting there for a couple of days. If this government doesn't want to take us seriously, we will make them take us seriously. And any group that wants that assistance will get it. Brothers and sisters, you have great choices here, like Will said. Will is one of my best friends in the labor movement, and he's the guy I always go on. I want to stand next to at every event. Charlotte has served you well for a period for the last 4 years. Realistically, there's no wrong choice here. I'm asking that you consider me for this position, but ultimately, no matter who you pick, the union has won. I have 20 seconds left, and I just want to say congratulations to Kyle Ross. You worked very hard. You deserve this. You will bring us this change. And I'm asking the delegates, please let me help Kyle in this area. Thank you very much. It's time to vote. And I'm pretty sure you're only going to have to listen to me talk one more time when we get back to Sierra 4. Have a great day. Thank you for being here. In solidarity, forever.
Thank you, Scott. We will now proceed with the votes. Please scroll down to the secure voting section and cast your ballot now. I'll remind you, you'll have 4 minutes to vote, and then there will be a brief delay while the balloting committee, the scrutineers, review the results, and then I'll come back and share the results with you. Oh, sorry, I'm told it's not quite open yet. Hang on, I'm sorry. The vote is open, delegates. Good morning, delegates. The results for the vote of first vice president are Will White, 91, Scott Cloney, 62, Charlotte McWilliams, 60. So we will now ask Data on the Spot to prepare another ballot for you. And we'll post the results first, though. Delegates. Is my mic on? My apologies, delegates. The numbers were incorrect on my sheet. The results that were posted that you just saw on your screen, and I'll ask them to post it again, are in fact the correct results and have been verified by our scrutineers and the balloting chair. So I will ask to have those results posted again. My apologies to the candidates and the delegates. Scott Cloney, 91, William White, 62, Charlotte McWilliams, 60. So we will now ask Data on the Spot to prepare another ballot with Scott Cloney and William White's name on it. And I'll just beg your indulgence for a moment as they prepare the ballot. The ballot is now open, delegates. Scroll down and prepare for your cast your ballot. You'll have 4 minutes to do so. Good morning, delegates. The vote results are Scott Cloney, 108, William White, 104. I declare Scott Cloney your first vice president. Congratulations. I'll ask Dots to post it because again, let's make sure I get my facts right again. And I would like to recognize Charlotte McWilliams with a point of privilege.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to make the vote unanimous and congratulations, Scott.
I now have a point of privilege from Will White.
There we go. Hi. I just also wanted to lend my voices and my votes to Scott, and let's make this one unanimous. Good job, buddy, and congratulations, MGEU.
Thank you, Will. Delegates, this would ordinarily be the time when we would move to the election for our second vice president. So I hereby declare Doug Troke as your elected president. Doug didn't make a speech yesterday. I think he wants to make a couple of comments very quickly right now.
Thank you. Delegates, I would just like to thank all the delegates and the members of the MGU for your confidence in me as the second vice president. I also like to congratulate Kyle and Scott on being elected and look forward to working with the newly elected people and whoever's voted in for third and fourth and the rest of the board. Let's get the work done. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Delegates, we will now move. Thank you. Delegates, we will now move to the elections for your third vice president. And at this time, I would like to invite Amanda Macbeth to speak.
Hello, my name is Amanda Macbeth, and I'm a crisis clinician with the Mobile Crisis Team in Southern Health and president of Tech Prov Local 420 and a member of MGU's Mental Health Committee. And I'm here to nominate Shirley Wiggins, our current third VP, to continue her role in the position of third vice president. A year and a half ago, Shirley asked me if I would nominate her to continue her role as third VP. I said yes right away and without reservation. And so I reflected on why I said yes so quickly. I said yes because she's dedicated. Shirley is an ardent Blue Bombers fan. And I thought, how long does she have to wait between Grey Cup wins? The same dedication has been poured into her work with the union. I said yes because she's committed. She's held numerous positions, some concurrently, but as third VP currently and now running for a third term. This commitment has meant time away from her family, driving thousands of kilometers to work hard as chair for the membership education portfolio. I said yes because Shirley is experienced, and this experience has given her a wealth of knowledge, which when I asked Shirley a question about her work or something that I have about the union, she is able to provide me with an answer that demonstrates both her experience and her depth of knowledge that she brings to her work as third VP. I said yes because Shirley is qualified. She went to university for 4 years to obtain a degree in the very subject of which her position of third VP manages, which is education. And I said yes because I think this is the most important reason. Shirley has a depth of character and integrity, and to me, this is invaluable. I want the third vice president of our union to have this attribute, because out of this flows all the dedication, commitment, experience, qualification, And this drives the hard work that Shelley puts into the portfolio that she has been given responsibility for as third VP, which is education. And education is so very important. I've known Shelley for 26 years and I've seen who she is as a person. And this is why I said yes to nominate her. Why I said yes to vote for her the first time she ran for third VP. Why I said yes to vote for her the second time she ran for third VP. And why I'm so excited to say yes and vote for her for third term. I am confident that Shelley has exactly what we need in these hostile and difficult times that we face as a union to help provide sound leadership to one of the most important portfolios, which is membership education, in her role as third VP. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. I would now like to invite Shelley Wiggins to provide her speech.
Brothers, sisters, and friends, it has really been a challenging couple of years. These challenges have not only affected our workplaces, but our personal lives. And we've risen to the challenge. We have adapted to ever-changing conditions to not only help ourselves and our families, but our friends, our communities, and our province. We have adapted what is normal, and this may have long-term impacts. Our membership education team has also adapted to the ever-changing environment. When we could not meet and deliver our education courses in person due to pandemic restrictions, a platform was found that enabled us to continue to provide education to our members online. This online platform can be adapted in the future to provide ongoing educational opportunities, even when we can again meet in person. We need to continue to move forward, to adapt and provide progressive education to meet the needs of our members. Your voice matters to me, and I've heard you. And your elected education committee has also brought forward your issues, making recommendations to improve the education program, to engage our members. Members need engagement. They need to connect with our union, to see it as their union. Membership education is a piece of that process. It takes a village to raise a child, and it takes engagement and involvement from all of our members to build and strengthen our union. Your voice was heard when mental health was highlighted as a workplace issue, and a group of members were brought together to focus on mental health and to discuss how to support our members. Resources and training were developed to help members continue to bring light to this issue in their workplaces. And while we acknowledge that it is the employer's responsibility to provide a safe and healthy work environment, we need to educate members about these issues and teach them how we can work with the employer and encourage the employer to make changes that will improve our workplaces. We have many challenges still facing our members in our union, and we need to stand strong together to make a difference. This takes time and dedication to fight for what is right. We need to step up, and we need to speak out. I'm up for that challenge and commit to working together with you, beside you, and for you as we face these challenges together. As third vice president, I will continue to work with our staff and our members to improve our membership education program. I commit to listening to you as our members to hear what you need. I commit to working with our membership education team to ensure that our program meets the needs of the members. I will listen to our facilitators, both members and staff, so that I can advocate for our continuing education needs. My experience as a certified teacher has given me the ability to advocate for an inclusive education program, and I will continue to speak passionately on issues affecting our membership. I'm committed to seeing what I've started through to completion and relish the opportunity to take on new tasks as they arise. Witnessing what our members have endured over these past months has inspired me to continue the fight. My commitment to you, our members, and to our union has not wavered. Allowing me to work with members from all components, locals, and areas across the province has served to improve my skills. It has given me further insight into issues that impact our members, our families, and our communities. And as well, it has given me the opportunity to learn, to reach out to members, to encourage and mentor others, to educate activists about how to help other members, and to listen to the needs of others. If elected, I will continue to be a voice, your voice. I will channel my passion to do what is right, to stand up for others, to give a voice to those who have not had a voice, to support our members so that they can help themselves and others. I will stand with those and for those not strong enough to stand for themselves. All I ask is that you stand with me and support me so that we can continue to fight for our members and face the challenges ahead. Thanks to you, our delegates and our activists, for all your commitment and dedication to making a difference for all of our members. And thanks to all of our staff for all their hard work in adapting to the changes that we found ourselves dealing with. Thanks again, and have a great day.
Thank you, Shelley. I'm now going to call on Chris Kwan. Her nominator decided not to make a speech today, but we invite Chris to begin now.
I'm Chris Kwan, and I'm hopeful that you'll cast your vote in my favor. Why should you? Who am I? Well, let me share briefly. I immigrated to Canada at age 3 with my parents and 2 suitcases in tow. We lived in a rooming house on the corner of Gertie and Ellen Street in the Centennial neighborhood. My parents took on labor jobs, my father construction, and mother as a sewing machine operator. They were thankful they found work, but always regretted leaving abroad good jobs where they had never been mistreated. As a teenager, I got hired at a Niagara factory that lasted all of 30 days. I did not feel right to be constantly under pressure to perform, yelled at, ridiculed, let alone to be paid piecework. My classmates worked at a hospital, said it was a union job, sounded good. I wanted one of those. I'm a proud Red River College Polytech alumni who is humbled to have returned to college as a continuing education instructor. I'm also honored to have facilitated adult education for the University of Manitoba Faculty of Social Work, the Winnipeg Police Service Police Recruit Training Program, Niganin Center for Aboriginal Human Resource Development, Herzing College, Provincial Corrections, Youth and Adult Probation, training to inmates serving life sentences within Corrections Services of Canada, with the goal to provide inmate-supported interventions through a peer offender prevention service. Interlake Reserve Tribal Council, Little Grand Rapids First Nations, which was my first time on a float plane, and into Ontario, Shoal Lake 40 First Nations. These are but to name a few. Albeit my title is that of an educator in these settings, I too am a student, listening attentively and learning from all the people's stories, real life experiences. 5 minutes is not enough time to speak to the employer injustice and exploitation personally experienced for the near last decade. Nor does it allow one to share the acts of individual resistance rather than what should have been collective. I won't lie, at times was disappointed in our union, who sat silent when one felt scared, powerless, and unprotected. Not every member will have the tenacity to endure a similar struggle. Members fall victim to many personal problems and to social ills such as the ones currently created by this government. Whatever happens, we need to constantly strive to diminish members' fears of authority and reprisal for exercising their rights as a union member. A strong, healthy, democratic union needs to have the understanding and involvement of its membership. Our union membership has fallen and workplaces are bogged down in apathy. When assessing why more people haven't stepped up to take the employer on, it's important to look at the situation carefully and find out what the actual reasons are. You have to diagnose the problem before you can write the prescription, and the only way to find out is by listening to the members. Has MGEU been listening? Employers have been known to disorganize us. They rely on 4 common factors: fear of conflict and retaliation, hopelessness, the feeling that we have no power, division, pitting workers against each other, confusion, passing around messages that will alarm or distract us. Does this sound familiar? Throughout my various work placements, I've been increasingly aware of membership being union ignorant. For the MGU, this ignorance coupled with the employer tactics to disorganize means an uphill battle to engage members and to ensure that the rights we have secured are not violated. Not every member needs to be an advocate for others, but at minimum, they should be an advocate for themselves. The future of our union is tenable, not only because of political effort to suppress us, but also because of the next generation of workers who enter the workforce without understanding what unions are and how organized labor can help them secure the best possible working conditions. I believe in being proactive rather than reactive. Divisiveness is infecting our workplaces. Increased trust and unity are critical if we're to make progress to address and solve these pressing dilemmas. Fundamentally, whether someone reacts in fear or unity comes down to trust. When people trust one another to act not only in their own best interests, but also prioritize the interests of others, then people will unite even more in difficult times. Listening is one of the most powerful tools to facilitate connection, change, and growth. The most important factor in creating and strengthening unions has been working people coming together to talk about their problems at work and devising solutions based on the collective action. By doing so, we fulfill the primary purpose of unions to help members get more control over their lives. Union education is an essential tool in the building of participative lifelong learning for union members. Unions are always going to be dependent on the next generation for survival, which is why it is so important that they are taught early. Union education has always been the core of union action. We need to ensure members have a voice.
Thank you, Chris. I would now like to call on Shirley Russell to make her speech.
Good morning, fellow delegates and friends, sisters, and brothers. I have great pleasure to introduce you to Penny Wainwright. I'm Shirley Russell from Local 405, Area 5. Penny Ann Wainwright is running for position of 3rd Vice President, and I am proud and honored to introduce you to her. She is a friend of mine. I have known her for many years, and I know she comes to us with a strong sense of teamwork, dedication, and a desire to build a strong and healthy united union family, with a commitment to help members with their issues as they arise and walk with them to find solutions and stand strong with them. She always carries through with what she starts and will stand with every member, no matter who you are. She will be your voice. She is a powerful voice, and she listens to what is happening around her and acts upon it. She will represent us well and will help every member equally. Penny has served in many positions within our union, which include being 3 terms as president of Local 362 and is the senior adjuster with Manitoba Agricultural Services Corporation, which is called MASC. She's in her 2nd term. She did 2 terms as a Women's Standing Committee, MGEU rep to MFL conventions and committees. Currently is on the Labor Management and Bargaining Committee for MASC, and is in the 4th term of her being the Workplace Health and Safety Committee for all province offices of MASC. She is a counselor in my community of West Interlake, and her term ends next October. She's the 2nd term as vice chair of Manitoba Farm Industry Boards and is on the board of directors for the Interlake Regional Health Authority. I know she brings a wealth of knowledge and skills to our union. She knows what the issues are, and she's not afraid to step out and talk for us. I hope you will support her in this, her as 3rd Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. I would now like to invite Penny Wainwright to make her speech.
Thank you, Shirley. Hi, everyone. My name is Penny Ann Wainwright, and most of you know me. I'm running to be your representative for the position of 3rd Vice President, and I'm humbly asking for your support. As Shirley said, I'm a senior crop adjuster, and it's a job I love going to every day. I'm not going to lie, it's been pretty tough with a lot of the offices closing and restructuring this year. It was a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. My term as councillor for the arm of West Interlake will be done next October, so that will free up a lot of time for me, and if elected, I will give you that time. Yesterday, you heard all the candidates' platforms and got a feel for their intentions. First, I'd like to echo that all the candidates are running because they want to see some sort of change, or they probably wouldn't be running. I got into municipal politics to be a catalyst for change in my community. I decided to run for vice president of the MGEU because some members approached me and they asked me to be their voice. They're not feeling they're heard. There's a strong disconnect between what the membership is asking for and what's actually happening right now. Be stronger together. This is a grassroots mandate I believe we need to get back to. A constitution is designed by a governing body, but it has limits placed on it to prevent arbitrary rule. It forms the basic principles of our group, our union, and it contains the fundamental rules that govern this body. I don't believe it's up for debate. The membership has been declining. Why is this? My own Area 5 had not had a meeting for over a year, not an email, not an anything. We were feeling like we ceased to exist. We have become divided. We're divided from other labor unions. We need to fix this. Contracts are years behind in negotiations and members are not happy. And like our corrections brother said yesterday, my mask members are also feeling largely left out and ignored. Again, I believe the world is changed by your example, not by your opinion. We need strong leadership with planning and direction, not knee-jerk reactions. We need transparency and accountability back to the members because it's the members that drive the union, not the board. The board's a true conduit. It's there for the membership and to ensure the Constitution is upheld. We, the members, we are the union. Let's not forget this. No more decisions behind closed doors. I think it's time for our table officers to stand up for the membership, for everybody, whether you're small, large, you're in a component, you're not. Table officers need to stand up for everyone, all members. Nobody gets into politics because it's glamorous or it's fun or for personal gain, because believe me, if that's your plan after being a municipal councillor, I'm sure Doug can tell you too, it is not a happening thing. It's exhausting, it's thankless, and there's always a mountain in front of you and somebody you're not making happy. It needs to be a passion, and I have that, and most of you know I'm not afraid to speak about it. I would be proud and passionate to represent you, and I won't forget who I work for if I'm lucky enough to get your vote. I work for you. The board works for you. Thanks for your consideration and good luck, everyone. This is a truly great team we have here with all these names that have been put forward. Your dedication to the MGEU is clear. Thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Penny. So we'll wait a moment for the vote to be opened. Just a reminder to scroll down to the secure voting section on the website, click next vote to refresh. And the vote is open. Welcome back, delegates. The results for the third vice president are Penny Wainwright, 71, Chris Kwan, 70, Shelley Wiggins, 69. We will now ask data on the spot to prepare another ballot for you. Penny Wainwright and Chris Kwan will be on the ballot. So we'll post the results first. Thank you very much. So again, as data on the spot gets the ballot ready, I ask you to scroll down and click on next vote to refresh your ballot. I know it's been a long morning, folks. Thank you for keep staying on the screen and fulfilling your very important obligations this morning. Delegates, the ballot is open. You'll have 4 minutes to vote, and we'll see you back here shortly. Welcome back, delegates. The results for your third vice president are Chris Kwan, 106, Penny Wainwright, 103. Congratulations, Chris. I hereby declare you elected for the position of third vice president. So delegates at, oh, sorry, we'll post the results first, sorry. I also want to recognize Penny Wainwright with a point of privilege.
I'd like to make this unanimous. Way to go, Chris. Congratulations.
Thank you, Penny. Delegates, we will now move to hear from the nominators and candidates for the position of fourth vice president. And at this time, I would like to invite Diana Stafford to make her speech.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. My name is Diana Stafford, and I'm coming to you from Treaty 1 land. Tonight, I would like to introduce you to Stephanie Swain, my nominee for fourth vice president. Stephanie was hired by St. Amant in 2004 as a direct support professional and quickly became an activist in the role of steward. Since 2006 until currently, Stephanie has been the chief steward and is the recently elected president for Local 178. Stephanie has held numerous other positions within the MGEU, including chair of the Young Persons Committee. Stephanie currently is chair of the Women's Committee, sits on the Constitution, Bylaw and Structure Committee, and the Risk and Strategy Committee. Stephanie has also sat on the board of directors as director of community-based social services component for 6 years. In addition to all her various roles within MGU, Stephanie is also actively involved in the Winnipeg Labour Council, participated in the United Way Winnipeg sponsored executive program, and received the United Way Winnipeg Labour Volunteer Service Award. With degrees in linguistics, anthropology, and deaf studies, along with her hard work, positive, and engaging nature, I believe Stephanie Swain is an excellent candidate for fourth vice president. Thank you. I concede my time.
Thank you, Diana. At this time, I would like to invite Stephanie Swain to begin her speech.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Swain, pronouns she, her, and with great thanks to my nominator, I am running for the position of fourth vice president of the MGEU. I've been an MGEU member now for over 17 years, out of Local 178, the St. Amant Community Residence Program. I'm a direct support worker. I work with individuals that have developmental disabilities, helping to support them in their home. And I am the key worker of the home that I work at. My first introduction to unions was when I worked at a local movie theater here in Winnipeg. The management there was so scared of the big bad unions getting in that we were made to shred the staff lists after every shift. I remember there was one manager in particular that was terrified of this. I guess they were worried about a list of employees' names getting into the hands of an organizer. I remember thinking, I don't know what this union thing is, but it must be bad if they don't know, or if they're so worried about it. You see, I didn't learn about unions in schools. I didn't grow up in a union family, and I really had no frame of reference for what it was. If only I knew then what I know now, maybe I would have been the one doing the organizing. Fast forward 4 years, and I'm sitting in my general orientation, having just started at St. Amant. All of a sudden, the person up front starts talking about the union I now belong to and a little bit about what it means. And I think to myself, this doesn't sound so bad. In fact, it sounds pretty great. And my interest is piqued. I start going to meetings and even volunteer as a steward. But it wasn't until one particular meeting when I was voluntold that I was going to be nominated as chief steward that I really jumped in. I became chief steward that night and began taking all the educationals I could and attending area council, and since then have become more and more involved in our union and the wider labor movement in Winnipeg. My nominator, Diana, has listed some of the roles that I have held and continue to hold. And while some people might think it sounds like a lot, for me, I wouldn't have it any other way. Over my years as an activist, I have seen the good that our union can do and how important it is and beneficial. I think back to that girl at the movie theater, clueless and being told that unions are bad, and it motivates me to keep working, to be there for my fellow members, to give up my time to the labor movement, and to be sure that the good and the accomplishments of the union are seen and known. For the past 6 years, I've sat on the board of directors as the director of the community-based social services component. This component is only 11 years old, relatively new compared to other MGEU components. It was created to bring together a group of locals that had previously sort of been floating on their own, even though they had many shared commonalities. Locals that provide vital services to some of Manitoba's most vulnerable residences. Locals with members who are horrendously underpaid due to government funding and grants that are never enough. And locals that are often unseen, misunderstood, and underappreciated by the public and by government. It has been an absolute honor to be the voice at the board for these locals during my time as the CBSS director. Our component has done some great work together, working to be seen and heard. Of course, every MGEU member is important and doing valuable work. Every one of you matters. And it's important for there to be a variety of experience at the top of our union. We have some tough years still ahead of us, and we need to have the best people leading us through it. The perspective and experience I have gained through my work, my involvement in the community-based social services, and the involvement in our union and the wider labor movement makes me a great asset to the role of provincial table officer and a much needed voice at that level. I would like to sincerely thank all of you for being here as a delegate, giving voice to your local. It would be a great honor to be elected as 4th VP. And if so, I can't wait to get to work in that new role.
Thank you, Stephanie. I would now like to invite Penny Wainwright to make her speech.
Hi, everyone. It is my great honor and pleasure to nominate Shirley Russell for the position of 4th up for the MGEU. I've known Shirley for over 25 years. I can say this lady is definitely a whirlwind. She's always first to lend a helping hand, whether it be at a union meeting when someone can't show up and they need someone to take minutes because the person that was supposed to wasn't there, or supplying community members with groceries. During the pandemic, Shirley was known to drop off boxes at the end of people's driveway. She is a home care worker and is constantly on the front lines, constantly at work. She's always the first to roll up her sleeves and pitch in. I won't repeat all her positions, as you know that she has been on pretty well every committee there is over the years, and they are plentiful. She is always kind and always listens before she speaks. You can usually tell when she disagrees only by her body language and the odd eye roll. She has been a healthcare aide for over 24 years. She knows the ins and outs of bargaining, pension and benefits, and has been around the block with lots of positions. She's kind of a jack of all trades. If you want a leader who has the interest of the members at heart and that will listen to you, I think Shirley deserves this. She's been such an activist for so terribly many years. And it's like always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Let's let her be a bride, people. She has the conviction to carry this through. So give Shirley your choice for 1st VP. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. I will now invite Shirley Russell to begin her speech.
Good morning, fellow delegates, sisters, brothers, and friends. I'd like to thank Penny for nominating me as 4th Vice President for our proud union. I come here from a farm background, and I'm a farmer, a single mother, and a proud grandmother of a 2-month-old grandson. Over the past 24 years, I have worked as a home care attendant in the former Interlake, now known as the Interlake Eastern Regional Health Authority. And over the past 20 years, I have been active within our union. First invited to my first union meeting by Lorraine Vickerson, and to area council as well, where since then I haven't looked back. I became a steward and have been very active in the life of our union, and I have served and continue to serve in many of the positions on your behalf as a union member and supporting my fellow union members. I co-chair the Interlake Regional Health Community Support Workplace Health and Safety Committee since it was formulated over 15 years ago. I'm the vice chair of Area 5, and this is my second term. I have been vice chair of Local 405 for 4 terms, and now am the president of Local 405. I sit on Pension and Benefits Committee and Finance Committee and take these jobs seriously. I have been delegate to many MFL and CLC and MGEU Convention and other events, including the Bill 29 campaign, which took me away from home for many, many days. And I've seen many communities, talked to many members, and brought your concerns forward. I serve now again on our Community Support Bargaining Committee, and I am ready to bring our fight with this government. I hope you support me in this bid to be 4th Vice President, and look forward to bringing all members' concerns forward and work hard for you. Thank you and have a good day.
Thank you, Shirley. I now invite Bob Wells to begin his speech.
Good morning, delegates. I'm Bob Wells. I work in corrections, and I'm the Area 4 director. And as a board member, I chair the Grievance and Appeals Committee. I attended my first area council meeting approximately 20 years ago. And I remember noticing this gentleman who greeted all of the new people with a smile and a warm welcome. He made them less apprehensive with his good-natured kidding and jovial manner. I was one of them. I saw over the next several years how he went to great lengths to make everyone feel like they were at a family gathering. He would tutor anyone who had questions, and he would stay after meetings to explain how things worked in a manner that new members would understand. When members wanted to be more involved, he would often give up his seat on many committees to make way for them, to be given the opportunity to sit on those committees and learn more from them. He continues to give to his community by serving as the Portage Labor Council as president and as a vice president of the Manitoba Federation of Labor. He has served on national committees with our national union and the Canadian Labour Congress. And he has also been a lobbyist for labor issues at Parliament in Ottawa. Closer to home, he has served as a component chair, component director, and has been part of the negotiating team for liquor workers for over 25 years. He has sat on the Pensions and Benefits Committee for over 20 years and as a chair for 12 of those years. He's also a member of the SILC, Superannuation Insurance Liaison Committee, and is also a member of their negotiating committee. It has been on the MGEU Grievance and Appeals, Tech Change, and the Committee for Accessibility, all of which he voluntarily stepped away from to allow new members an opportunity to learn and develop as activists. With over 35 years as the MGEU activist, mentor, coach, tutor, and friend, I proudly put forth the name of Ed Miller for re-election to the position of 4th Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. At this time, I would like to invite Ed Miller to make his speech.
Welcome, delegates. Of the 230 plus delegates with us today, half will have or have had some form of mental illness by the time they reached 40 years of age. Mental illness has several faces and forms, but I would like to talk about the one form that affects us most: stress. Stress has become more prevalent in our lives, and few can say that stress has not entered into our workplace or how it affects our home life. In my term as your 4th Vice President, I have seen how stress affects our members in the most of negative ways. Out of the cloud, I have seen members coming together with commitment to do something about it. I have seen dedicated teamwork that has put together positive results, whether it be through a letter writing campaign or signing of petitions, or from speaking at legislative hearings on bills that affect our members, even contacting your MLAs and giving your opinion on what matters. Because of your commitment and drive, it has made a difference. Because of your commitment and determination, a major contributor to our stress has now moved on. He's moved on to his mansion in Costa Rica. And many of you are to be applauded and thanked for that. But we cannot sit back now and feel good. The news that we received about Bill 28, I'm sorry, was definitely not good news. So we must continue to keep the government's feet to the fire in diligent and creative ways. We must commit to make aware those issues that affect our members, our families, and our communities. And as your fourth vice president, I have found that one must have the ability to make decisions that may not be popular, but it is the right thing to do. They must also have the ability to speak out when things just don't seem right. They must have the ability to hear and to also listen. And the most crucial ability that they must have is experience, patience and understanding of how the union works, and many, many more. In my over 40 years as an MGEU member, activist, board member, and an officer, I have demonstrated and shown that I have these abilities. And I thank you. Merci, miigwech.
Thank you, Ed. So delegates, at this time, we will prepare the ballot for you to elect your fourth vice president. We'll wait a moment until the ballot is open. The vote is open. The vote is open. And again, remember to scroll down and confirm your vote. Thanks. Thank you, delegates. The results for the vote for fourth vice president are Stephanie Swain, 112, Ed Miller, 80, Shirley Russell, 19. And then I'll ask Dad on the spot to post the results for our delegates. And with that, I declare Stephanie Swain elected as your fourth vice president. Congratulations, Stephanie. I have a point of privilege, Delegate Ed Miller.
Good evening, afternoon, I should say. I wish to thank all the delegates who had confidence in me and congratulate Stephanie. And I know her youth and knowledge will be of great service to this union. And if she permits, I'd like to leave a set of rules that I have followed in my years as an activist. And again, feel free to use them if you so choose. My rule number 1, it's all about the members. Rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. So I'd like to make it unanimous if Shirley agrees to it. And again, congratulations, and I know you're going to do a fine job. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. I have candidate Shirley Russell, who has a point of privilege as well.
Yes, I would like to thank everybody who voted for me, and Ed for his years of being the chair of our Pension and Benefits Committee. And yes, I make it unanimous as well.
Thank you, Shirley. In years past at convention, I would invite a motion to destroy the ballots, but of course there are no paper ballots this time. But I do want to reassure our delegates that the legal contract that we have with Data on the Spot explicitly prohibits Data on the Spot from sharing any information about how delegates have voted other than the vote totals with anyone from the MGEU. At this time, I would invite all of our provincial table officers to turn their cameras on. And once they're all here, we will repeat the oath of office. Kyle Ross, President. Scott Cloney, First Vice President. Doug Troke, Second Vice President. Chris Kwan, our Third Vice President. And Stephanie Swain, our Fourth Vice President. Previously, the MGEU Board of Directors determined, oh, we'll just wait for Stephanie to come on. Previously, the MGEU Board of Directors determined that those that take an officer position take an oath of office. So the 5 newly elected provincial table officers will take their oath of office today in front of all the delegates. The rest of your board The rest of your board will take their oath of office at their first board meeting on November 18th and 19th. I'm going to just wait until we get Stephanie back and remind our 5 provincial table officers to turn on their audio and their video. And we'll just give Stephanie a minute. She was in and then fell out. So I think she's having a little bit of technical difficulties. So we're going to give her a little bit of time. And I'll also reassure the delegates that once we conclude this part of our business, we will break for the lunch, for an hour for lunch. I know it's been a long morning in front of the screen, but really appreciate the delegates' time and attention to this very important matter. and fulfilling your obligations to your local and your union. And now I'm just going to fill some airtime to say it's 12:10 and we will break for a full hour. So if we finish at 12:15, we'll break until 1:15, because I know it's super important for us to get away from the screen for our eyes and our bodies, and it's hard to do it without a break. But again, appreciate your patience. So we're just getting Stephanie on the phone. So, you know,
There you go, Janet. I believe you did say something about interpretive dance.
If that doesn't get everybody off the if that doesn't get everybody off the screen, I don't know what would. So Stephanie is going to try to come in on her telephone because her laptop has got a gremlin in it right now. So Doug, if I had one of your bad dad jokes that I heard at a local meeting, I'd have something to fill the air. Do you have one for the delegates this morning? You're muted, Doug.
Thank you to whoever did that.
I've been banned from dad jokes since the local meetings.
Just leave them with Ernest, because Ernest had many during those meetings.
You know, on that note, I want to again acknowledge all of the candidates who participated in those local meetings. I know I only attended a portion of those meetings, but all of those who ran for a provincial table officer position attended hours and hours of meetings over a couple of months. And it was a tremendous commitment for all of them to make. And I think a really important signal. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for coming back.
I don't know what happened. I got kicked out or something, but I'm on my phone.
That's okay. That's okay, Stephanie. We're glad you could join us. I'm going to ask the five of you to recite the oath of office. I'm just going to count you in so you don't say it like I, Kyle, am. So I'm going to count you in so we can move it at a better pace, okay? So you're all pinned there and you all have it in front of you, right? Okay, yes. 1, 2, 3.
I,
Kyle
Doug
Ross,
Cloney, do solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution, bylaws, and procedures of the Manitoba government, of the general
during
my term.
I will faithfully
during my term, I will
discharge the responsibilities of this position to the best of my ability.
Discharge the responsibilities of this position to the best of my ability.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, that was
awesome.
It's bad form for me to laugh at my 5 new bosses, but I'm going to. For the delegates, I'm just going to read it out so you all know what your officer said.
Because you could make any of that out.
Do solemnly swear that I support the Constitution, bylaws, and policies and procedures of the Manitoba Government and General Employees Union. During my term, I will faithfully and impartially discharge the responsibilities of this position to the best of my ability. So thank you all. Congratulations to the 5 of you. And delegates, we will see you back at 1:15. Thank you so much.